everyone here on time. I am so excited for you to hear the insights from today's session. Okay, so just so everyone knows, we are going to be live streaming this on YouTube, and it is being recorded. So if you don't want your voice or your face on our public YouTube channel, please keep your camera and mics off. But other than that, I want to hear where you guys are from. So maybe put in the chat what country you're in right now, and I'll try to guess your time zone. I do this every time. I think I'm getting pretty good at it. Our wonderful speaker, Ayomide, I think is in Nigeria. It is 7 p.m. there. Am I right? Okay, most people here are also in Nigeria. Ooh, someone from Puerto Rico. Okay, I think it's 12 p.m. there. Some of them Philippines. Okay, I think Philippines is uh isn't it like 10 or 11 p.m. in Philippines? Thank you for being here. Okay, some of these countries I don't know as much. So thank you for sharing. Oh my God, 2 a.m. in Philippines. Thank you so much for being here. If you have to go sleep at any time, this is being recorded, so don't worry. It'll be on our YouTube. I will email out all the resources. Oh my gosh, someone is attending this at 12 a.m. Okay, don't worry, our speaker is amazing. We'll make it worth it. I'm going to share my screen now to talk a little bit about entry level, and then we can jump into the event. So, a little bit about us. We help you learn and get experience so you can get hired, and these are some of our courses. Hopefully you're familiar with them, but if not, I'll go over a little bit about what it's like to take one of our courses. But a few house rules before we start. Please be respectful and don't spam the chat. Keep your mics muted so that we can hear the speakers. But of course, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat and I'll ask our speaker. I also want to hear what level you're at in your tech journey. So put 1 in the chat if you're a complete beginner. 2, if you've taken a few courses, maybe an entry-level course. 3, if you've landed an internship already, and 4, if you're working in tech. Okay, so it looks like most people are complete beginners. Some have taken courses. Oh wow, someone is currently working in tech. Congratulations. But most people here are beginners. Okay, so this is perfect because our speaker can share his story about how he gets started. Okay, a little bit more about us. We want to reskill 1 billion people by 2030. It's a big mission, and just by being here, you're helping us with that because we want to reskill you into a career you love too. Again, here are some of our courses. I assume most of you are interested in data. And if you take one of our courses, you get a certificate that looks like this. You get a portfolio project, and you get to join our Discord community where you can get feedback on your work. And we also post job postings there. So awesome. That's enough about us. So I'm gonna ask our speaker to introduce himself. So Ayomide, hey, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Oyedele Ayomide. I am currently in grade 10, or as you may know in Nigeria, SS2. I am a developer in Power Platform. I'm also a developer in Full Stack. I'm also a developer in data analyst and data science. The reason being why I specialized in different areas and aspects of tech stacks was due to the fact that at that time I did not know exactly what I wanted to do at that time. So that's the reason why I'm in different tech stacks.
Okay, thanks so much for sharing, Ayomide. I have my first question for you is to share a bit more about your story. Like specifically, how did you get started learning?
Okay, so I started my learning journey from where I got it from my elder sister, who is currently a cyber security enthusiast and a Microsoft Learn student ambassador. So she shared a lot of resources and tools for me to use. So I started with Data Camp actually. Data Camp had a host of introduction to this programming language or that programming language. So I took most of them. I passed it and got all the certificates. So I decided to now go, and also I actually started my tech stack in 2020 actually. So that's 4 years of developing actually.
Wait, so you started at 11 years old?
Yes, I did. No, I'm 12 years old actually too. If it's 12 years old.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wait, before I let you get back to your story, like why did you pick data in particular? Like how did you decide that was what you were interested in?
Well, to me, I actually love numbers. So, and data has to do with numbers. So I find it interesting that I can code and be able to analyze or explore numbers or data sets in particular. So that's why I chose data science.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, go back to your story. You were taking
So
data camp courses.
yeah, so after I left the data camp for a while, so I went to free code camp. So free code camp actually specializes mostly in full stack engineering. So I took half of one of their courses in JavaScript, which I was conversant at the time. And I went to another organization, because I was trying to find out what I want at that point in time. So I went to an organization who specializes mostly in life skills. For example, now Microsoft PowerPoint, you can use it to create slides, or SharePoint, you can use it to create websites for your teams to collaborate. So I used I went to that organization, I did all their courses and they were actually good, they were nice. Then but the one that actually stood out to me really was actually entry level, because entry level was the first how do I say, the first course givers, or how should I say it? So they're the first ones who actually drawed me out to create a portfolio. Because the other ones that I joined didn't really put portfolio. They only gave me projects to do, and I did those projects. But entry level made me do a portfolio. So that portfolio allowed me to, if I can share it with my um other tech stacks and tech people alike. So if I share with them, they can see what I have done and they can be so proud. So I'm actually grateful for entry level.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for saying that. Sorry, someone called me out in the chat for feeling so touched because yeah, it makes me so happy to hear that it helps you. Um, but yeah, I was curious to hear like you've taken all these courses. I even tried free code camp, but I never finished it. So how did you have the discipline to keep learning?
Okay, so I had a schedule. Most of the times I'm not really on my device because of curfews. So I go to school, come back around the evening time, that's around 6 o'clock. So from that 6 o'clock, I decide to do most of my homeworks and my chores. And afterwards, during the night time, I'll be able to have more serene time to be able to do my coding exercises and coding activities. But during the holiday, I don't really have a set amount of time to use my device. So I can use most of those times to, watch video, watch courses. I can improve my learning skills and also create new projects each day. So that was how my schedule was quite.
Oh, okay. So how many hours a week would you say you spent learning on average?
Uh, well, if I actually look at it, sometimes I spend up to um 4 hours per day to code if I'm actually into it. So I spend up to 4 hours per day, but most of the time is mostly 2 hours. 2 hours, so I can have more time for my chores and more time for for my family and more time for my homeworks in school. Really,
Oh my gosh, you were doing this on top of all your homework and chores.
yeah,
That is amazing. I hope you're getting enough sleep.
yeah. Okay, well, sometimes, but I mean, it's all for a goal. The goal is to be achieved. So, I'm working a big tech company who will actually give me what I want and also grow in my tech knowledge. And so that's the goal, really.
That is so inspiring because I have a course that I never finished, but you make me want to go back to it. Um, yeah, I have another question. So, do you have any recommendations for us here about making time for learning like you do?
Yeah, I would say the best time for you actually to learn is actually mostly in the nights, because there's no noise in the nights, really. In Nigeria, we have so many noises in the morning, afternoon, evening. But in the night, you have more time to learn. So that can be the time when you're able to learn, to keep learning, and that's be able to it's able to enter your head, so you can be able to build more projects and something like that.
And how do you find these projects to build?
Okay, so I have many websites. The one in particular, I'm not really sure. I don't remember.
Free Code Camp? Just like
No,
that?
no, the FreeCodeCamp doesn't give projects. The projects are incorporated into it. So you may not know that it's a project, but you are doing it. But there's one.
Kaggle?
I want to. I mean, let me quickly look for it.
Okay.
But it depends on you though, because there are so many that you can. Okay, so there's Lead Code. Yeah, I just remembered. There's Lead Code. Lead Code has so many projects from beginner to experts. But I have not really delved into Lead Code because what I saw was not really what I know at that point in time. So I'm still going to learn more things so that I can start Lead. But it depends on you though, because you can also use Free Code Camp. You can do their projects, but you can screenshot their projects and post it on whatever social media you want to use.
Okay. So would you recommend people start with projects or start with a course? Like what is if you had to provide a roadmap for people to start, what would it be?
Okay, so you first of all start with the knowledge process where you learn what you want to use. So you learn the Python, introduction to Python, intermediate Python, and advanced. So you will now go to latecode.com or any other website at that. You go to that website, you now check for a simple project to use. So you will now try and solve that project. But if you solve the project and the project doesn't work or your code doesn't work, then you will know that this is a stopping point that, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. Let me go back again and review what I've learned so that I can be able to solve that problem. So that's just basically how it's done.
Okay. I love that because sometimes I take a course and then I get bored because I'm like, I already know this. So getting hands-on on projects is what I like too. Okay, so another question about how you got started, because I know we have a lot of beginners here. Do you need a tech or a data background? Like, how do you start learning as a beginner?
Now, you don't really need a tech or data background. You just really need to have the incentive to learn. You need to have that thing to learn. So you must always try to learn. Then you must always try to use what you have learned to build projects to impact the world globally. So you must always try and build projects. Projects are the key things. So it's not mainly certificates, even though I made that mistake at one point, but it's not mainly certificates. It's mainly projects. So I'm trying my best to build more projects to showcase on LinkedIn, especially to showcase on LinkedIn so that I can make my parents proud and also make those that are in the tech industry proud.
Okay, that's so interesting. You mentioned that you focused on certificates before and that it was a mistake. Why is it a mistake?
Yeah, so basically, most of my certificates at this point right now is just mostly introduction. So the people in LinkedIn wouldn't know that I've actually delved more than introduction to this programming language or that programming language. But the course that I'm taking will not let you to give them a certificate at that point in time because of it has to finish from intro to advanced. So they won't know. But if you continue building projects, but they will know in the LinkedIn that, okay, this project is an intermediate project. You can also specify. So they will know that, okay, this is an intermediate project. And in the end of the course, you can now see that, so the series of projects that I have been showcasing on my LinkedIn was due to this course. And this is the certificate that I gained. And these are the skills that I gained. So that is basically how projects works and not really certificates.
Okay, that is an interesting insight. Like, do you have any other mistakes that you made that you would caution us beginners not to make?
Okay. So I've also made the mistakes of just sometimes giving up. For example, now I don't really know how to solve this equation or this problem. So all I just go to is this website. I've forgotten this website. Um
That's okay. We
so
can share all the resources at the end. If you
yeah.
think of it,
So
I'll email it.
I just go to that website and just type the error that's there. It gives me the solution and the step-by-step solution, and I just copy it into the code and just run it and submit it like that. So that was the time when I made many mistakes. But I decided that, okay, fine. If I can't solve this, then why don't I just break it down into bit by bit and see a way or areas that I can solve this code one by one. Yeah, so the website is actually Stack Overflow. So Stack Overflow is my go-to. If I don't know anything, just go there. It will answer the question for me. But I said that, okay, why would I just go to Stack Overflow and it will give me the answer? Why don't I just use Google? But instead of pasting my code, why don't I just paste the error in the code to Google, and Google explain to me that this is the error and this is how the solution is, rather than going to Stack Overflow to give me the answer. So that was one of the mistakes I made, and I'm trying to correct also.
Okay, thanks for sharing. Yeah, also if anyone has any questions, feel free to put it in the chat. I would really love for you to I want to make this event as helpful for you as possible. So put your questions in the chat. But in the meantime, I'm gonna continue with my questions. I'm still kind of shocked that you spend so long learning and you've learned continuously for 2020 till now. And I think you said you have some more certificates you want to earn or like some more courses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so right now I'm actually aiming for Microsoft Power Platform because I've been learning mostly no code. So I'm going to write the certificate soon. That'll be around this beginning of the year so that it will enter when I'm 16 years old. So it will be able to be like youngest student, maybe to write Power Platform and all. Another thing I'm also trying to write, it will be A plus. I also made a mistake not to write the A plus earlier because if I wrote it around 12 years old, I would have had much knowledge in A plus. So that was my mistake. So I'm going to write that one too.
Okay, so you wish you started documenting it earlier?
Yeah. Because A plus, so A plus is basically just like introducing you to the computer era or the computer industry. So if I start with that, I will understand how computers work, then go over to data analysis or data science to code. So I'll see how computers work with the code. So that A plus certificate exam would not be in vain, but it would be strengthening my knowledge in data analysis and data science.
Okay, awesome. We actually have some people curious about all the certificates and courses you have. So do you know how many courses you've taken or certificates you have?
Yes, I want to check it quickly.
Oh
I
my
think
gosh, you've
around
taken
20.
so much that you can't even remember.
Yeah. I think around 23, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, 27. So I have 27. But these certificates are mixtures of both introduction, skills that I've learned from Google, certificates from Microsoft, certificates from entry level, certificates from data camp. So it's going ongoing, really. And I
Wow.
have over 50 50 skills on LinkedIn. So these certificates, they don't only give me one skill, they give me more than three skills. Example, if I recall, entry level, they gave me a skill of, no, I didn't actually take the advanced certificate. So I will not have known which skill I had. So I took the standard so I can get a refund so I can build and collect another course from entry level. But if I remember correctly, what I actually collected from entry level, one of the skills I collected was actually communication skills. So I decided tried my best to try to communicate with my team partners so as to get the correct portfolio, which would not be a copy of the portfolio that entry level gave me. So that was one of the skills I got from entry level communication skill. Then I don't remember, but I think there was also team leader because I had a team, so I was the leader. So, but I wasn't sure that entry level gave me. So, but the only thing I remember I didn't collect was the one of timing when you enter entry level first to start your course and finish the course before everybody else. So that was the one I didn't collect because I had so many things to continue at the same time focusing on entry level. So I missed on that timing.
Wow. I love that you remember all the skill badges from entry level because I didn't think that anyone cared about those. So that's good to hear.
But I didn't know which ones they gave me, but I remember that I collected from them.
You know what's so interesting is 2 days ago, I hosted an event about how to land a remote job and internship. And it was with a recruiter or like a talent advisor who is very, like, she's been in the industry for a long time, has seen a lot of resumes. And she said the number one thing is to know your skills. So it's interesting that you also mentioned skills. So
Yeah, I do.
yeah, I think it's a foundation of building upon them and like landing the job, talking about during interviews. So. Awesome. My next question for you also comes from the chat. Someone's asking SQL or Python. What would you start with?
Okay, so from my knowledge, SQL is basically just the database. So how you query knowledge and query what is inside the database to give to your employer for you to know. But Python is actually like a broad language. Python affects so many things, affects data science, affects data analysis, it affects artificial intelligence. So I won't say the SQL or Python are the best tools for data analysis because there are also tools like Power BI, Tableau. So it's all about you using all those tools together to be one. So if you use SQL for drawing insights from your database, you can use Python to analyze the database, what you have drawn again, so that you can be sure of what you have drawn out. Then you can use Tableau or Power BI to create that data visualization for your organization because you surely don't want your manager to be seeing numbers. You want your manager to be seeing data visuals so you can show it to your manager for you to see. So those are like the best tools, not in between two languages, actually.
Yeah, that makes sense. I still have to learn Python, but I also took the SQL entry level course and it was like, wow. So I personally started with SQL and it was pretty easy for me. But I haven't done Python yet. So um I have another question here about like the day-to-day of a data analyst. Do you happen to know that? Because someone's asking about like what to expect if you're working as a data analyst.
Okay. So what type of job? Okay, which question in particular?
Okay, so the wording specifically is as a data analyzer or data analyst, what type of job can they be doing? Can I know the work of this type of job?
Okay. So as a data analyst, what type of jobs can you do? Data analysis gives you a data analyst job. So is the course is actually data analysis. The job is data analyst. So you can, as a data analyst, you can work in many tech companies as long as you know what you're doing and what you specialize in. You can work in different technical companies. So those are the job. That is the job of a data analyst. I'm sorry, of data analysis, I mean. These are two different words. So
Yeah.
the work of a data analyst, the work of a data analyst is very simple and it's straightforward. A data analyst collects the data from the data scientist because the data scientist will have removed the data, unpacked the data for you. Then the data analyst will now collect that data from data scientist, analyze it, and put visuals on it and give it to the manager for him to see and make insights.
Actually, I remember taking entry level's data SQL course and the other data course, and you get to experience it yourself. Like there was an education for all project, and then you had to have, I think it was like a Udemy, like your boss wanted you to do something, so you got to try it for yourself.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, it was too long ago. I don't remember anymore, but it was a cool way to experience what it's like on the job. So I highly recommend taking the course. Um, Okay, so we have another related question. A lot of people here are beginners. They want to know again, how do you start their journey on data analysis? It's very overwhelming with all the resources. So if you had to create a roadmap, be like with step by steps, what would you say?
Okay, so if you are going for the journey of data analysis, so there are many companies who offer big courses on data analysis. Entry level is one of them. Entry level starts with Excel and Tableau, which I didn't actually take because I already learned Excel before. Then they go next to SQL. Another company you can also use is Microsoft, because Microsoft has the data analyst part. So it shows you how to analyze data with Microsoft Fabric, analyze data with Power BI, because Power BI is from Microsoft too. So that's another place you can go to. But I highly recommend entry level, because entry level gives you the thing I actually love the most is just the portfolio, because others I've seen some that do though, but entry level zone is it's together. Like you do it, it's not only you that is doing it, you're also trying to help other people to do their own, at the same time making theirs original and not like yours too. So that's just basically what I actually really love about entry level.
That's so sweet. Thank you. I didn't know that was such a big deal for people, but I kind of want to show my portfolio project now, just so people know it's possible. Okay, so let me screen share this. This was a long time ago though. So yeah. This was my capstone project for the introduction course. Um, I analyzed my personal data, so you can see like how many meals I had, like my hours of sleep. I collect all that data on my own, and then I just put it in this dashboard. And then in my actual portfolio, I analyzed the work. So actually, I'm curious, Ayomide, what was your capstone project? Oh no, I guess if you did SQL, they gave it to you, right?
Yeah, my capstone project, if I remember correctly, was to analyze countries. I'm
Yeah.
not really sure. Maybe I can see it from here.
Oh, this was the Excel and Tableau course where they gave you like a regular project and then you also had to do another project, the capstone project. So then I just used my own data for that. And I talked
Yeah,
about
so
my, yeah,
let me quickly bring up my capstone project.
sure. These projects are so exciting. That's why I love entry level too. Um, Also, in the meantime, while you look for that, I actually have somebody asking about like how to find a job and which websites to look for. So I have a bunch of links for that. So I'm gonna share it with you in the chat. Um, because I don't know if you guys get the weekly emails from me about career resources and tips, but I wrote a lot about how to find remote tech jobs, and I'm going to link all of them here. So, yeah. Did you end up finding the portfolio?
Yeah, I'm almost there.
Okay, perfect. I just linked all the links in the chat, by the way, about how to find remote tech jobs and like different job boards. The job boards should include jobs for like people all over the world and not just North America. So I did a bunch of research for these. You can check those out on the list that I linked in the chat. But don't worry, because I'll also email all of it out to you.
Okay. So my capstone project was basically for a fundraising team. So I had the challenge, I had the task of actually trying to make their fundraising campaign much better. If I remember correctly. So there were two countries who were very leading in the fundraising team. So they were always, donating to this team, to this organization, always donating every month, every month, every month. So I also said that, okay, fine. If these people can donate every month, why don't we not focus, many of them also go to other areas who don't donate as much as they do and look for what interests them the most. So you look for what interests them the most. Maybe if you like they like dogs now, so you can just advertise that can help save dogs in this country. So that's what I did. So I was able to analyze those countries who did not donate much, and I was able to tell the manager that, okay, so these are the countries that do not donate much. So what you can do is that you can talk to them and you can ask them the reason why they are not donating much and how you can improve in the figures that they donate. So that's just based from what I just saw. So I employed SQL, and I employed the Tableau tool. So first of all, I was actually skeptical to use the Tableau tool because I was mainly used to Power BI. But there was something that you said, I think it's you or one of the instructors. You said that why don't you, since you already know Power BI, why don't you try other tools? So I said, okay, fine, let me see how Tableau works. And due to the fact that I also know that Data Camp also gives courses on Tableau, but I said that no, let me just try and look at Tableau and see if I can learn it without going to a course to teach me how to learn Tableau. As I was able to use Tableau efficiently, it works pretty well for me. I was able to create the data visualization tool. I was even able to explore Tableau than I intended. Then also there was also the intro big this thing to how to use Tableau on the course website. That's entry levels. So they just showed me around Tableau, and that was it. I just started exploring Tableau and I was able to get the dashboard. So so what I used from what somebody said, he said, how did I create that dashboard? So I used Tableau. Yeah,
Oh
so that's
yeah.
what I did.
I think you made a very good point because you said you knew Power BI and Tableau. I feel like these are all different tools that you can learn easily once you know one because they're all very similar. So I ended up, I don't like Tableau and I don't know Power BI, so I ended up using Looker Studio. So like once you learn Tableau or something, you'll be able to learn the other ones pretty easily.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but basically to summarize what you said, you recommend starting with some kind of course that has a hands-on component so that you can work on projects. Um,
Yeah. The only problem about that is that now, if you go to YouTube, there are some courses that I'm not trying to bring them down, but there are some courses that if they tell you to follow them step by step, if you follow them step by step in the course, and there is a problem in your own code, but when you check on their own YouTube, their code works perfectly. So those are the kind of courses that you try to avoid and look for courses that are actually authentic. People that you have seen them with projects, and you also try and look at the comment section so you can see how to whether this course is good or not. So that's how you base on courses, really.
yeah, I feel like with YouTube, I tried learning on YouTube before as well, and it's like there's no one to ask questions, you know? So that's why I liked entry level because the Discord is so helpful. Did you end up joining? No, you were a team leader, so you were in the Discord, right?
Yeah, I was in the Discord. I'm still in the
Yeah.
Discord. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we post job postings there sometimes and memes, but you know Fifi, right? Our wonderful community manager.
Yeah, I do.
She is so helpful because
So I think
sometimes
it's Fifi. Yeah, it was Fifi that actually said, okay, try a new tool. So it was Fifi. Yeah, I remember correctly.
oh yeah, because usually when I join course communities, I'm like, okay, it's not gonna be active or anything. But Fifi's always there to help. And like if you have a question, she's like answering and it's just so nice. Let me link the community here for everyone actually, because I think you all should meet Fifi. She's like a gem. So I'm gonna link that in the chat here. Awesome. Okay, let's move on to another question. How do you stay motivated to continue learning on that schedule that you said? Like 2 hours a day?
Okay, so how do I stay motivated? So naturally, I'm the kind of person that I always make sure that I finish what I start. So if I start a book that is very interesting to me, I must make sure I finish it on that same day. So that's just the motivation. If you have the motivation for you to know that, okay, I'll finish what I start, irregardless of if the course is very boring. Because there are some courses I took that were so boring, but I learned something really. So it's more about the learning process. You're not looking at the teacher, but what the teacher teaches, really. What the person teaches and not the person itself. Because the person's voice can be slurry, but what he's teaching, you have to pay attention, watch how he's doing it. Another thing is that you try to work on what you have watched, you work on the projects that you have done without the course itself. So first of all, you watch the course, then you work on the project, not side by side with the course, but on your own, like the project is full screen. To be able to see that, okay, these are the areas I need to improve. Then you watch the course again, not basically putting it by side to see, okay, this is a mistake. Let me correct the mistake on this side. So that's just basically how it's done, really. But the motivation is start what you finish. So finish what you start. I mean, finish what you start.
Yeah.
So
Oh, okay, wait, I think you said something very interesting, which is you can't rely on the course to go step by step. You have to work on the projects by yourself without referencing the course for help, because that way you can see what mistakes you made and what you need to improve easier. Okay, I never thought about doing that because when I take courses, I rely too much on the course, but in the real world, you won't always have that there. So you need to know your strengths and weaknesses and what to improve. Wow, that was just mind blowing to me. Because I feel like it's obvious to you, but it's not obvious to me. Um, but yeah, I think that's a better way to learn. My next question for you is about your future plans. So let's say everybody here today takes your advice, does the course and does the projects. What's next after that?
okay, so if you do the course and you do the projects, so you go to learning providers who give you internships for a year or for 6 months, and there are so many out there who give it. Some give it for free, some you have to pay, yeah, something like that, or some give it on scholarships. So it's more or less you having many connections enough for you to see, okay, so this person is giving a scholarship today. Maybe I'll try it out. And then another thing is for you to not get the scholarship just for the knowledge, but you get the scholarship for you to impact the knowledge to another person, or to impact the world globally as a whole, or impact your community. So it's not for the knowledge only. So that's I'm also trying to also do that too. So if I get the knowledge, maybe I will try to make solutions that can help those in my community or those in my country, which you something like that.
Oh, that's so inspiring. I love it. How do you find these scholarships and internships though?
Well, most of the time, most of my scholarships is based on what my big sis actually sends to me. But the little of the time, because most of little, so the little of the time, I make sure that I'm always active on LinkedIn. So I always make sure that I get quality people who would give me resources. So I connect with them, and I connect with Microsoft, Google, most of them, so that I will see when. So if Microsoft gives a scholarship now, I'll be like, okay, let me quickly sign up for this scholarship. So I'll ask for the advice of my sister, so she'll be able to give me areas in which I need to improve on how I can get that scholarship. So that is just how I get scholarship. Make sure that your connections are up to date. You keep connecting and connecting, and you'll be able to get those scholarships.
Okay, so it sounds like you need to go and put yourself in environments where people are sharing these opportunities so you can always see them.
Yeah.
Okay. And how are you connecting with these people on LinkedIn? Like, how do you find them? How do you connect with them?
Okay, so when I started LinkedIn the first time, I actually didn't have much people other than my big sister and our connect those that are in our connections who would just cheer me up. But later on, I said that okay, why not only just tag my big sister? Why can't should I not also tag other people in the tech industries that do what exactly I am doing at that point in time? This is today I might be doing Python, tomorrow I might be doing Power BI, the rest. So I decided to tag those people who are my sister's connections, who are not doing what my sisters are doing, but are doing what I'm doing, then tag them and show them what I have done. Then their own connections will now see what I have done, but they will not. It won't show that it's their own connections, so they'll see what I've done. So I'm able to get more recommendations. Like on LinkedIn, there's a way you'll be able to see who to follow and who not to follow, so who to connect and who not. So you see those recommendations. I'll connect with them. Sometimes I may know them, so I'll just send in private message that hi, I met you at this event or that event. Or if I don't know, I'll just connect with you and see what you are doing, see if you have many resources, and I'll use the resources that you have used and just check it out. So if I see that you have a certificate now in one course, in one learning provider, I will check out the learning provider. If I can get the course, no, if I see that the course is actually good, I will look for a way to get the course either for free or I pay for it. Then that is how I do it. So it's mainly connections of connections who have connections that can give you the resources that you need.
Oh, wow. And I feel like by being here at this event, everyone here already has those connections because you can connect with me or Ayomide and then see everybody we're connected to. So this is like a good environment already. Um, and I will be sharing the links to our LinkedIn's in email. So if you register for this event, you'll get everything via email. Okay, so last question for you, because I know it's getting pretty late. Do you have any advice that you want our students here today to remember?
Okay, so if it's advice, most of the time it's mostly just the motivation. If you have the motivation to do something, you do it. If you have little motivation, but you really want to learn this program, that you can put time intervals. You don't really need to go to the course fully. You can start 5 minutes with the course, you take a break, you connect, you talk to people around, then come back to the course. That's where you're able to finish the course, even though it's a little motivation. But if you have no motivation at all, you can talk to people, people that can help you, shape your line of thinking to know whether this course is good for you or this course is not good for you. So it's mostly about motivation and mostly about projects. So that is really the key. And also, another thing you should also do is your LinkedIn. LinkedIn is like your best friend. Your LinkedIn is your best friend. So anything you start and you finish, if it's a project, you must always post it on LinkedIn, not mainly the certificates, as I said before. Always the project. So if there's also there's a part in LinkedIn where you can share your projects. You can just create a page, projects page. So you can use GitHub to create your project. You create your project in GitHub, then you send it over to LinkedIn as a click. So you're able to show people that these are the projects that you have done. So 3 words: motivation, projects, and okay, two. It's motivation and projects really.
And LinkedIn?
Yeah, and LinkedIn, sorry, three, yeah. Motivation projects on LinkedIn, yeah. Motivation projects on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I think you said something very interesting though. You said talk to people. They can give you advice on what to do, which I think further inspires and motivates you to continue. Like,
Yeah.
for example, people being here talking to you right now, your advice is to, start small, get motivation, share projects on LinkedIn. And I think that hopefully inspires or motivates a lot of people here to take action, especially knowing how young you are and like you got started when you were 12. It makes me want to do stuff too. But yeah, if no one has any more questions, I think we will wrap it up here. But please note that everything will be emailed to you. So if you missed any links in the chat or resources, the recording and everything will be emailed. So yeah, thank you so much, Amide. I really appreciated your time here with us today. I
Thank
hope you
you.
have,
Thank you.
yeah, so have a great night or afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much.